Hello and welcome to the back nine of round one of the 2024 Portland Open presented by Latitude 64. It's our 9th out of 18 DGPT events. This is an Elite Plus event. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
I'm Madison Walker. We're your two hot geese.
Honk. And it's a pretty nice day out here. Mm-hmm. We are watching several ladies. We're going to see them in a hot second. Just you wait. If you didn't watch the front nine, you weirdos. And 3 down is the best score leading the way. Sophia, not on the card. Donachie owns Scoggins 2 down in a huge tie for second place. Rebecca Cox, Ella Hansen working their way back to even par with some birdies later in the front nine. Juliana Korver 1 over. Even par is a great score on the West course out here.
Yeah, 1 down is good enough for top 10 right now, but there's not a lot of scoring separation happening. The back nine is where things get wild. Lots more out of bounds. The course stretches out a good bit as well. Let's start it off.
Hole 10's a par 4, 585 feet. Lots of trees in the way. This one is difficult. There's a mandatory on the left, low ceiling. You want to get out and to the right. That OB line can weirdly come into play quickly because you really want to get some distance over there and open up the second shot. You do not see a lot of ladies get close on this one. Circle 2 is probably the most common landing zone. You're going up a hill. You're navigating around 1,000 trees. There's just a lot to do, you know?
And by common, Erika means only 7 people got to Circle 2 in regulation.
Like, at best. Is anyone even landing in Circle 1?
No.
That's what I mean, like, good shots get to Circle 2. Really good shots.
This is another hole that a lot of people are just playing for par.
Yep.
In order to get the birdie, you have to go so aggressive off the tee that it really does bring in that OB on the right side that Erika was talking about, or this.
Or this. What a weird bounce. Rebecca was really low and short. Ella says this close to being good.
So there is that Mando on the left side. Playing wide right is fine. It does lengthen the hole a little bit. But if you can just get around that Mando, the left side's a little bit more open, and it's actually pretty birdieable from over there. Huh. It's just a little bit more aggressive.
Man, I haven't even really thought about that.
I did it by accident today.
Most ladies going out to the right like this. That's interesting.
Yeah, I had a Circle 2 putt like 40 feet.
Okay.
By going over there.
Okay, fancy lady.
Surprise. It was a shank that worked out.
Rebecca up first. Quite a bit of work left here, just looking to get most of the way up this hill.
And I don't know if the camera does it justice, but it is very uphill.
Not really sure what happened there. She'll still have some work left to do for her par. Ella looks like she's lining up maybe an out and around hyzer kind of a play.
And this is
huge.
That is huge. This is where you don't necessarily, if you can't throw as far as Ella, want to get super aggressive. If you catch those early branches, it gets really difficult just to get up and down at all. You just want to throw something safe, make sure you're nice and low below the branches, and try to get up to the top of the hill.
Juliana doing a good job from there, doing all those things that you just listed. Ongoing forehand. Huh. Cool. What a line.
Juliana, a little bit of a late release, but it sneaks through inside the circle.
Yeah, it'll be just fine. Rebecca with a little touchy sidearm approach.
Pretty.
Yeah. And Ella, after being short off the drive, still has somewhat of a putt here for birdie.
There were only 3 birdies on the day today. Let's see if Own can get one of them.
Is she inside the circle?
Just outside.
Oh, there. Wow. Oh, there. She's way outside.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a optical trick. What a putt. Let's see it again. Well outside the circle.
Yes. And this time we won't talk through it. Huge. Look at that little gallery back there. Of course, everyone's going to come watch Own. It's like she looks like every day's her birthday.
What a crazy flex forehand through that gap up the hill. Pretty amazing. Owen's going to move to 3 down. Nice par putt there from Rebecca.
The other two birdies, Raven Klein and Cat Murch. So this is the second most difficult hole of the day.
Just a hard one to reach.
And we follow it with two more in the top 7. These 3 are doozies.
Is that what they are?
Own the only person in the field to be 3 down right now. We have a big tie for second place at 2 down. Oh, hole 11, another double Mando par 3.
Another doozy.
That is semi out of reach. It's 345 feet, so it's not actually out of reach. It's just a very demanding tee shot, especially for the distance in the FPO field. It's difficult to get a disc to carry that far, that straight for that long. The green is also very well guarded. You can see how teeny the gap is as you enter the circle. Let's watch Emily Weatherman flex something down this fairway. Bailing out just left at circle's edge, which is a pretty common play.
Yeah, this is probably the most typical landing zone, I'd imagine, for a good shot. Nice.
Huge circle 2 putt for a very clean 3 down.
I'm going to tie up Own for the moment.
I was wanting to guess which way Own was going to go.
She's going with that Star Racer again.
Ooh.
That disc is working for her.
Yeah, I like that early line. I haven't seen anyone do that before.
Yeah, lots of choices you can make on this one. Just still so hard no matter what you do to get there, though. Rebecca really high on that one. She's going to land well short.
Just trying to get her card mates with all that pollen. Ella trying to work a little bit of a slower speed disc, but just a little early.
It was turning, too. Almost did it. This hole and the next hole are the exact same holes for MPO and FPO, and they're just not super scoreable for us. Juliana going to turn one over to the right. Not even sure if she landed in circle 2.
You can see how difficult it gets right before the green. There were only 2 birdies and only 2 people that land in circle 1 in regulation. A lot more looks from circle 2, though, 19 competitors.
Ella kind of saws off her approach and catches a tree. It looks like she'll have a pretty solid par putt coming back. Rebecca pushes too far past it, and same thing. She's going to have some work to do for her par.
Coming in hot.
Juliana, not as close as you want to be, but still less than 20 feet, it looks like, for her par. Own with a... Looks like she was trying to run that.
Yeah, it did get a little windy on the back 9 as well. Ella trying to give it a soft bid. Besides Emily Weatherman, Sophia Donachie, the only other birdie on the day.
Man, Rebecca left with nothing. Looks like she was lining up that V for a second. I think going out and around was the much wiser play, but gonna have to settle for bogey, which feels awful on this one.
Juliana with the par, and that's going to match 80% of the FPO field. It's kind of boring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like this event, and I love the East course, but this course could use definitely a few more tweaks. There's several like this hole. There's probably four or 5 holes that did not score very well for us last year that they left the same, and I'm just a little surprised.
Yeah, there's 2 on the front and 3 on the back that could use a little work. Three down is holding strong at the best score of the day so far.
Hole 12, another par 3, 380 feet. A couple different lines you can take. You can go this left route that the drone is flying. There's also a flex line out to the right. There is a mandatory on the right that I don't think many ladies are really thinking about. Just got to get through so many trees, max distance, really difficult. Kind of boring.
Yeah, 380 feet. This is even longer than the last hole where we only saw 2 birdies.
But a cleaner line than the last one, or at least you can throw a flex. The last one you can't really.
Exactly, and I think the forehand is a huge advantage if you've got it. Own in circle 2, and she's one of the biggest forehand distance throwers in the field. So you can see just how difficult it is. It's 380. It's just a teeny bit uphill as well.
Juliana working the backhand flex, catches that guardian tree, takes a chunk out of it. Rebecca looks like she's lining up that right side with the Grand Grace here. That looks great, just needs to flex out of it.
It's hard to want to get too aggressive on that right side flex because if you do turn something over, there's an out of bounds line that comes into play pretty quick over there. Kind of surprised to see Ella go up the middle.
Yeah.
Especially with her sidearm and roller game. I feel like we could see her really attack up that left side.
Surprised we haven't seen a roller yet. Juliana lined up to this tunnel, early releases, but gets all the way through. She'll have a putt for par inside the circle. Ella left with a pretty wide open sidearm. That is a nice thing if you take that left side gap or middle gap, however you want to call it, is it's a much more open approach than the right in a lot of instances.
Rebecca with a soft bid / pitch up for par.
Own really long look for a birdie here.
Own one of only 8 people to get to circle 2. Only one person got to circle 1 in regulation, and there were only 2 birdies on the day today. Natalie Ryan and Kat Murch. Juliana with a little more action off the top of the basket than you want. .67% of the field parring this one, 29% with a bogey or worse. This one, it's easy to stack up strokes with all of those little center tree or gigantic center trees.
Yeah. They're pretty, but they are deadly. And you can see the golf carts there. Going to cart us way up to the next hole. It is so far away. Sorry, spectators.
Yeah. Couple of long walks on this back 9.
Got 41 feet for Gossage.
It's a game of inches. The Portland Open champion, Adam Hannes.
And here we are at that par 5. That's very far away. And now a very long hole. This time, though, we're going downhill. It's 885 feet. And you think downhill 885, oh, yeah, this is no big deal. But this hole is so hard.
It is a big deal.
There's low-hanging tree branches you have to avoid off the tee. You can go out and around or underneath them, but it does take some distance off. Your second shot, you have to push this out-of-bounds line that we see all the way down the right-hand side to get around the Mando tree before you get into the area where you can attack. You can't go over OB to attack all the way to the green, but it's terrifying. So you see a lot of people chopping their way up the left-hand side, but there's so many trees in the way. It's really easy to add strokes.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Anakin just got so much distance off the tee. That was unreal.
That was a massive shot. And a great forehand for her second shot here.
Yeah, it filters a little bit left into the trees. She's going to have to take the little skinny gap, and she's good for it.
Anakin 1 down currently. Circle 2 look. And
Nice.
cans it. Pure looking putt. She probably putts with pures, actually.
That is a great birdie. You can see her beaming. That one feels awesome. Such a technical hole. Even with this semi-wide open looking tee shot. Owen making it look easy. Rebecca also lining up that under the branches shot.
I think that's the most common play. That's pretty low. Gonna be shorter than she wants.
Yeah, in practice, a lot of people were using the hyzer flip there, but we did have a bit of a left to right wind here that made that play a little touchy.
That's looking good from Ella. Some nice churn.
Yeah,
Still just a little short, just a bit.
it's a huge advantage to land on the right side of the fairway here. The left side makes it so scary to attack past that Mando on your second shot.
And lengthens it too. Another halo turn from Juliana. Fading out again towards that left side. Yeah, it's really hard to get into the perfect position from over here on the left, as Madison was saying. That
Rebecca,
very detailed.
Yeah, Rebecca a little short as well, but she turns it into the gap so nice.
That's great.
That's amazing.
I wish she was a bit more rewarded there. We'll see what she has left, but that was a fantastic shot.
Owen set up nicely, especially for the tool she has in her bag. Ooh,
It's too hyzered. That honestly was probably a good tree hit.
that was a great tree
I think
hit.
that was going to be challenging the mandatory potentially.
You're throwing so steeply downhill here, right at the out of bounds line. Juliana attacking, no fear.
Oh, I love this.
Me too. Getting way around the corner.
That is phenomenal.
Oh, she does a little curl at the end. She might be pinched. We'll see.
She's far enough, though, where it's not like a full drive to get there. Hopefully she can manufacture something. And, boy, I hate those limbs. Oh, she gets through? Those are dense. Very lucky to get through those.
Owen going to have to work up the trees on the left side, not even having to mess with the OB on the right.
Overturn, though.
I thought she could be going out and around. There's room over there, but yeah, that is way out. Ella forced to throw a patent pending here. I'm surprised this is the first one we've seen today.
A little too high on that one, a little nose up, but that tree kind of helped kick her into circle one.
She's getting some tree love.
Rebecca with the preferred line out here, some funky footing, but it's nice just to be able to swing a hyzer.
She doesn't quite commit over the OB, comes in hot, and she'll sadly end up in circle two.
Juliana similarly working with some interesting footing here, having to work around the tree. That looks pretty good. Just sit. That'll be a putt for birdie.
10 people got to circle one in regulation. 21 got to circle two. Owen having to just chip something up to the green for par.
Rebecca for birdie in a wide straddle dealing with this tree on the left. Oh, man. She's had so many come up just short. So close to a fire round. Ella framed up here just outside the circle. Also a big straddle putt. That's huge.
Awesome. We love a circus putt. Juliana, a similar looking putt, just much closer.
Nice.
And while Juliana is sprinkling some bogeys here and there, she's also finding a lot of birdies out here for the West course.
Owen and Rebecca gonna take the pars. Ella moving back to even with that birdie. Juliana 2 over.
I feel like They could have made that a par 4, and I'm so glad they didn't.
Yeah. I don't mind this hole, weirdly. I don't know.
It's hard.
It's hard, but it's, everyone in the field can potentially birdie it.
Mm-hmm.
Emily Weatherman taking the lead with a 4 down. Hole 14 is a par 4, 520 feet, double mandatory. You see a variety of lines through these trees here. And then there's no really perfect landing zone, I don't think. I guess the right side's kind of nice because then you have this large gap over here. We're going to the yellow basket as a par 4 up the hill. Can be difficult to land on the sloped surface. It's short, but a lot of times you get caught up in the second shot. There's just so many trees, especially if your tee shot fades over to the left. There's not really a main gap. And that is looking a little scary, but Ella is past the mandatory and way down there.
Yeah, this is a very wide double mando that is somehow still terrifying with the trees the way they are.
Yeah, I think if you catch a tree, you could just miss the mandatory, and everyone kind of knows that.
Juliana, I think, makes the mando, but she's going to be in a really tricky little spot. She'll be able to get a par.
She might even, it's not that far. Like, she might be able to squeak something through. Working the forehand.
I really like the right side. I think it is the way to go. It's the only place you do actually have an open look. You can, like Erika said, sneak through if you're more left, but that right side is surprisingly friendly.
Rebecca kind of early, but also past the mandatory and way left.
I don't know what's over there.
Not a lot. No true gap. You're just throwing and hoping.
Never thrown a hyzer in my life, so I don't know what it's like. Here's where you just kind of chip something up. Ooh, Juliana with some nice little tree left. She'll be in circle 2. Oh, and also eyeing up that right side. It's very dark, so you can't see, but it's a bigger gap.
And she hits it.
Heck yeah, she does.
And she's pretty dang parked. Nice shot. Yeah, that right side is nice, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I always fade over to the left. What am I doing?
Yeah,
look at this. What are we even looking at over here? We don't know.
Not much.
You're looking at trees.
Yeah, Rebecca tries to sneak through one of those little skinny gaps. Ella is going to try to flex a forehand.
She's far enough down here, though, that that's a legitimate gap, though it's small.
Hate that.
Yeah.
There were 17 birdies. This played as the easiest hole of the day.
Ella with a long look. This is risky. It can roll if she misses here. But it's fine. Rebecca going Anheuser bid. I dig it.
Yep. We love hole 14. It's a friendly little breath of fresh air.
Feels bad if you don't have a look for birdie, though.
Yeah, it sure does. 35 out of the 48 competitors, at least in circle 2.
I do like this one, though. I like that, again, we have the par 4 versus the MPO has the shorter, really difficult par 3. Ooh. Oh, man, these baskets are...
They don't like it right on the pole.
They
don't. Our feature card kind of struggling on this one. The easiest hole of the day. There's still some time to score.
Owen with the only birdie on our feature card here moves to 4 down. Looks like she is tied for first with Emily Weatherman. Cat Merchant solo third place with a 3 down through 14. A bunch of people at 2.
Hole 15 is such a fun hole. It's another par 5 at 765 feet. Very technical. I like a forehand out of the gap. You can throw a backhand as well. It does bring that out of bounds on the left side into play. Your second shot is blind because of how uphill it is, but ideally you land somewhere in this area. Then it's a short little chip across an OB area that kind of acts as a semi-island. There's an out of bounds green that can come into play on your second shot as well. This is one where OBs can stack up and bogeys can stack up as well. But if you play it clean, pretty simple.
Yeah, it's a short par 5. Definitely a lot of danger on the green, but it's a fun one. I like it.
Cat gets way down there. She's in the tall grass, but that's fine. She just has to pitch something up here.
And this looks like, oh, maybe that's not a great shot, but honestly, the right side is kind of nice. It is in bounds, and she's very close here.
Yeah, safe.
And it's flat.
It's a 100-foot chip shot. Just making it look super easy. Just sunflower seed easy.
She's going to move to 4 down. Tying up Emily and Owen. 1 hole ahead. Owen working the forehand, which, as Madison said, I think is the smartest play.
That's huge.
That is a massive shot, too. Haven't seen as many sidearms as I expected from Ella. She pulls that one. It's going to be very early right.
I think that Ella's signature I messed up move is to jump
Just jumping,
up and
just
down.
jump rapidly.
Yeah.
Ooh, Juliana working the backhand. Almost gets out, but catches the last tree on the left.
Thankfully, she is out of the gap at least, though.
This is such a tight backhand.
It sure is. Ooh, Rebecca.
Oh, yeah.
Murders it.
Okay.
Perfect line, perfect angle.
If you're at home, give us a couple claps. We love that one.
Yeah, that's a golf clap all day.
That was her grand grace. Ella pinned up on this tree, having to go patent pending here. It's pretty well done, considering.
Yeah, just playing for par at this time. Juliana can technically still birdie.
She can. This left side where she's landing, though, is blind, so it's pretty risky to go from there, and it's also hillier. I like trying to land further to the right.
Owen so far, just trying to get up to the top of the hill. This is a really nice looking shot. She's almost to the flat, but she'll be able to see the basket.
Ella from the tall grass here. Okay, for a second I was thinking she was going to go for it, but that's going to be low, and she's still going to have quite a bit of work left for her par.
Yeah, kind of surprised not to see her go a little more aggressive on that third shot, but it's so scary.
Plus, sometimes you're like, I'm just going to lay up, and then maybe don't fully commit. Rebecca with a really high second shot here. She does get to the flat.
It's you want to go farther than that, but your body's like, no, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
We know there's OB up
There's
there.
OB.
We can't see it, but it's there.
You can't.
You probably can't even reach it, but it's there.
Plus, you are throwing uphill, so that nose up really comes into play. Ella, I wonder if this is blind, or if she can maybe just barely see the top of it.
Oh, no.
And that is OB. We'll see if it crossed.
And that's how strokes stack up really fast on this hole, especially with how much danger's on the green. She's going to have to take it where it last crossed.
Owns third. Just a little standstill backhand chip. That is perfect. Owen putting together a really great round. Last year, 5 down was the best score in round 1.
No.
Rebecca, gonna be OB, it looks like, but at least she crossed and will have a putt to save par. Leaving it short and having to take it farther back is maybe the worst feeling ever. Ooh, pretty shot from Juliana. A little bit of a run there. Ella long look for a bogey save. Leaves it short. And yeah, that's frustrating. Great par save from Rebecca.
That is great. I just realized the T sign does not have the cart path as out of bounds where Ella just putted from.
Yeah, I mean, it's marked
T-sign
clearly,
error.
but interesting.
Ella going to have to settle for a double bogey after all that work to get back to even par.
Yeah, I don't think she's been under par yet this round, but getting quite a few birdies, really working hard out there.
Own tap-in birdie, 2 in a row.
Moves to 5 down. Own in solo first now. Hole 16, a par 3, 356 feet. Low ceiling off the tee. OB area short. You're not really thinking about that. Hopefully you're not. The basket is tucked away behind some big trees here. Another one that a good shot ends up in circle 2. It can be really difficult to get inside the circle. Backhand flex lines are probably the most common. I'm curious if we'll see some sidearms.
Let's watch Missy Gannon from a different card.
She's working right side. You see a variety. You see this right side play. You also see more of a left side turnover. Missy absolutely parking this thing. That's so good.
Yeah, the right side, you do have to get a little lucky at the end, but it definitely sets up for that flexing shot that really helps people get bigger distance. It's so hard to get the turnover to carry that far. Really nice birdie from Missy Gannon.
Own working that right side with that racer. Gonna have a deep circle 2 look at.
Juliana taking a more linear route, straight at it, and she'll finish out to the left, almost in circle 2.
Rebecca too low and turned to get all the way there. She's just outside circle 2. Wide open look, it looks like.
Ella Hansen a little early, out of the hand, also a little low. Not going to give herself a look for birdie. Gonna have to throw a full approach shot.
And Ella's sidearms aren't quite where they normally are so far this round. She's going to have, looks like a circle 2 look for a par save.
Rebecca just chipping up for an easy par. Only 4 people got to circle 1 in regulation.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think something about the low ceiling.
But 25 got to circle 2. That's a huge jump. Yeah, this is a very well-guarded green. See if Own can make some magic happen from circle 2.
As she's known to do. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So good. Moves to 6 down with a turkey. Let's see it again.
Yes.
Absolute magic. Serious look. Adjust sunglasses. Pretty baller.
Own one.
Oh. Wow, okay. I thought Ella hit a tree farther back. Dang. It is hard not to laugh at the jumpies, though.
Yeah, I feel the jumpies. There was quite a bit more wind on this green than we've seen the rest of the day. A little surprising amount of wind. You think, oh, I'm in the woods. I'm in the clear. Then a gust moves through. Own with one of only 7 birdies on the day today.
This green is also really funny because it's always recess time when you come through, and there's like children just absolutely losing their minds.
like screaming just so loud.
So loud.
So high.
It must be the best playground on the planet. They are always losing it.
Oh, hole 17. This par 4 is tough. It's 511 feet. Your tee shot is down low. You have to throw up and out to get out of this little tree gap. It's very far away. It's very thin. It's very difficult. It's easy to land in that tree patch and to have to make a decision here of whether you're going to try to carry the OB to this basket on a mound or if you're going to lay up on the short side and take the risk of hopefully being able to pitch up for your par. This is a real risk-reward hole depending on how your drive lands. It super dictates the rest of the decision making.
Cap Merch, huge shot out of the tunnel here. Gotta go for it from there. That's probably, at least 30 feet farther than a lot of ladies land off the tee. It's a great drive.
She's probably got about 220 to the basket.
It's uphill, though, so you really got to rip it more than you think.
That's great. You think a lot of times, too, that you just kind of jam it into the side of the hill, but that play kind of doesn't work on this green. You have to lay it out to the right like we saw Kat do for her birdie. Sometimes if you throw it to the short side, it can roll backwards into the out of bounds. We're also going to watch Missy Gannon from one of the other feature cards. Barely make it out of the gap, but that is enough.
And this is quite a bit longer than we just saw Cap Merch throw. I believe that's an Undertaker. Oh, yeah.
She is under the basket, taking birdies.
So proud. Missy moving to 5 down. The turkey of her own.
Oh, and of course going forehand here where no one else does.
No one. Literally no one.
No. That worked great.
Yeah, it did. She's ridiculous, and I love her.
Juliana with a really smooth shot, dead center on the gap.
Perfect backhand. Feature card ladies making this gap look pretty simple. Rebecca finding that right side, easy to do. Kicks to a pretty bad spot. She's going to be playing for par from over there.
Yeah, there's not much to work with from behind that low-hanging branch.
Unless maybe she squeaked out, but I don't think she did.
Ella force turning something through the gap. Really nice.
Fantastic. She's way out there.
Rebecca.
Oh, yeah, nothing.
Forced to take a knee just to get out.
Oh, and that's going to be a lot more work than you want for a par look. Pretty rough lie there. Oh, and going across with the backhand. That looks good. Come on.
Ooh.
Yep. Oh, and just outside the bullseye for another birdie.
Juliana has about 275. Putting it nice and wide outright. She goes past the basket, but that's fine.
It is fine, but bummer not to see that a bit more rewarded.
Yeah, and the only problem with going deep, although there's some space back there's an out-of-bounds green, but she's going to have a scary comeback putt.
Very scary. Rebecca, a lot of hyzer on this thing, wants it to dig. Going to have a similarly scary putt, but even longer than Juliana's. She's outside the circle looking at a birdie, or a par save. Ella way up here, able to go. Looks like a putter. Uh-oh. Okay, it's fine.
She'll be to the side of the basket, so she doesn't have to putt at out of bounds, but if she decides to run it here and hits the cage, it's so easy to roll.
Mm-hmm. Looks like she's lining it up.
Oh my gosh.
Good run. Hits the cage and stays. Whew. Rebecca outside the circle for a par. Fully committed. Looks like I think she stayed in bounds, but long comebacker. And as Madison said, risky if you hit metal.
Dead center. Thankfully, it lays down, but
Dang, those strokes can stack up fast out here. Juliana for birdie. Body does not let her run that one fully.
Don't blame her.
Especially after watching
I'm surprised.
some scary putts.
Yeah, I'm surprised this hole doesn't play more difficult. It was a nice forgiving wind today. We've seen a headwind during practice, so it was a relief. But Owen going to be the only person on the card to birdie this one. Everyone else struggling a little bit.
And the second dark-eyed Junko that we've seen today.
Oh, yeah.
Even though we heard so many more.
They were everywhere, just chirping away. Especially on hole 17's tee pad, actually. There was a very noisy one.
Owen moves to 7 down. Wild. Missy Gannon, Cat Merch. Yeah, tied for second at 5 down. And here we go. Hole 18 is a par 5, same as last year, 978 feet. We're cutting across several golf fairways, 2 sets of double mandatories. They're very wide. I think most ladies dealing with the left side more than the right side. The drone is flying right through the middle. There are a bunch of different gaps you can take, but again, towards the left side mandatories are the biggest gaps. The pin is perched up on kind of this ball golf teeing area. There is OB that comes into play all around the basket, both left and right. I would say the left side comes into play a little bit more. Lots of different ways to play this hole. Sometimes your card mates are so far away from you.
Let's watch Cat Merch attack. She turns something over. She's going to be way more right, but it is fine over there.
Like, I mean, this is a legitimate play, though, too. Some people...
Wait, she made it through the trees?
She made it through the trees, yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God. She just crushed it.
Yeah, it's huge.
She comes up short of the second Mando. Just has to throw a hyzer out. This is blowing my mind right now.
Yep. Inside the circle.
Oh.
Going way right, way left. Squeak a hyzer around the Mando. Easy birdie. Oh my gosh.
Get out of here. It worked. That is such a great birdie.
Yeah, it is.
Only 11 people got to circle 2 in regulation. Only 9 got to circle 1.
Own work in the flex.
This is one of those holes where you throw 2 of the best distance shots of your life, and you're just like, there's no way to get there. There's no way to get there.
I'm familiar. Juliana also working the right side, coming up short of those trees. Kind of showing how impressive it is that Cat Merch got through there. Ella, I'm sure, dying to birdie this one. Going roller. We love it.
I almost said that, but I was like, I wonder if the double Mando's scaring her.
Whoa. Sweet trick. Great distance. Really cool to incorporate that ramp in the middle of the roller. It's next level.
Extra points.
And let's see what that died disc was. S-line DD.
Rebecca set up nicely for the gap.
Juliana with kind of a weird little gap here. Gonna work the flex shot. That's well done.
Yep, setting herself up nicely for the second gap. Owen going to go forehand. She didn't have as great of a backhand option.
That looks good, though.
Yeah, great distance. She might be a little too pinched to go for it. We'll see what she has to work with.
Rebecca working the right side here, hoping to get through these trees. Does catch one.
Being right on this second shot is super important to go for it. If you're too far pinched left and you have to work your way around the Mando tree, it stinks.
Yep.
But Ella is not. Oh my God.
Wow. Really risky shot overall, but it works out.
Yeah.
She definitely squeaked through a gap, an unintended gap, and comes up just short, but hopefully an easy birdie from there.
Yeah, she's done with all the trees.
Yeah.
Juliana, while not as much distance as you like, she is wide open to the gap. So close to getting some huge distance from that shot.
And Yeah, this is kind of the typical landing area, I think, for the majority of the field on the second shot, and it is so hard to get all the way there for a putt.
Yeah, there's 2 stair steps up to the 3rd stair step, which is the green. Most players landing on that first step.
Mm-hmm.
You're happy if you get on the second one.
Rebecca lined up well to attack here. Ooh. Definitely pushes that tree, swings it pretty wide. Looking good. Get a skip. Oh, yeah.
Gosh, her power is so impressive.
Mm-hmm. And kind of a, not a horrible back nine for Rebecca, but definitely, I'm sure, a frustrating one. Hopefully she can just put that one in for a nice birdie to end it.
This is a bit of a scary approach. There is out of bounds on the left-hand side that can come into play if you yeet it past.
Couldn't agree more. Ella's third. She's going forehand. Hasn't really had a lot of luck with the forehands, but she makes the correction. Maybe about 20 feet for a birdie.
Owen able to just kind of pitch up. She has some awkward footing and works well with it. There were only 6 birdies on hole 18. It's a very difficult finishing hole.
Nice par putt to end the round from Juliana. +2. It doesn't feel great, but not that bad. We do have 3 rounds. 1 more out here at West tomorrow, 1 at East, and then a cut.
Ella finishing the round with a birdie to also put her at 2 over par. We know she's not happy with that.
Rebecca ending with a really phenomenal birdie. 1 of 6, he said.
Yeah, and what a way to bounce back from a double bogey on this challenging hole 18. Yeah, 1 of only 6 on the day. Besides Ella, Kat, and Rebecca, Violet Main, Lindsay Fish, and Sophia Donachie getting those birdie 4s.
Is that bogey free for Owen?
Is it?
Is it, or did she get one on the front?
That's almost.
I was just trying to remember.
That's almost more impressive.
Oh,
Nope,
she did
just
have one. She had one. Still, pretty amazing. 7 down out there. So good. As you can tell, solo first. Kat Murch, solo second with that birdie on 18. She's 6 down. Missy Gannon, 5 down. Paige Pierce rounding out the card at 3 down. Annika Sten and Emily Weatherman and Raven Klein and Sophia Donachie all at that 3 down on chase and third card. Very tightly stacked field here.
Yeah, and Owen doing what you have to do. She's heating up when everyone else is having a hard time. That back nine is absolutely brutal. It's so impressive to see her string together some birdies there in the back. And we have, like Erika said, 1 more day tomorrow at West. We're supposed to have similar conditions, a little warmer,
I hope
is
so.
nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully you guys come hang out with us. I know you missed us last week when we weren't together.
They desperately miss us, right?
So we'll see you tomorrow back out at the West course at Glendoveer. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. Nailed it. We're the 2 Hawkeys.
Hawk.